there was a test at Phoenix to try to improve the short track package or learn more. I've not heard a bunch about that. It's been kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You as a car owner, I'm sure you're in the conversations about what's going on there. What do you think they learned at the test? What did they not get accomplished?
I hadn't heard much either. I mean, I actually was thinking on the way here that to get the guys at 2311 and JGR to send me all the summary from the test. I did look at all the drivers that did make comments. I looked at what they had to say. There's also a driver text in which they were commenting kind of live as they were making changes. Mm-hmm. It didn't seem like there was, big game changers. Again, most of them felt like tires were the biggest changes that they made.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there was, that new up-down splitter they said was maybe marginally better.
I'm surprised that these components aren't making a bigger difference in the racetrack. Because they tried a bunch of stuff at Richmond, and they're like, hey, I couldn't tell what you put on there. If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know.
Dale, why are we trying to fix aero at Martinsville? We're running 65 miles an hour. Run the fender and the front bumper knocked off of it. It doesn't. It's just not going to drive different.
Yeah.
Aero is not the answer on the short tracks, and I know we keep beating this dead horse, but it's just aero is not the answer. It's a grip to horsepower ratio that we have tightened up over the last 10 years. Really, we used to be 900 some horsepower, and tires used to fall off a bunch, and now the tires don't fall off, and you got less horsepower, so it doesn't wear it out. We have less downforce than we ever had, so less downforce equals less tire wear. So as they continue to keep taking downforce off, you got to move the tire with it to make it, beyond soft. I'm talking about gumball soft. Hell, the rain tires lasted 25 laps.
They were awesome
on a dry track.
Yeah.
And it was awesome because the minute somebody wore a tire down to be bald, their lap times was awful and they'd start to drop, right?
Yeah.
So how can we get our tires to actually wear will be the game changer, because obviously they're not going to go back to horsepower.
Yeah, I thought they talked about like everything was on the table. They made a comment.
Everything but horsepower. They will not do it.
Oh.
And I can tell you as an engine, I can tell you as a team owner, our engine bills when they was 700 or 800 horsepower versus right now is no different. So I don't understand why going back and taking a 50-cent piece of aluminum that is a tapered spacer and opening that thing back up to 750, I can't make sense of why we're not doing it, because the engine builders, Doug Yates came on, says we can change that next week. The components ain't really going to change that much. We're going to get the same durability out of it. There's just something going on where they will not do it, and I hate the excuse of, well, new manufacturers. Fuck that. Like, until someone knocks on my door and says we're coming in, all right, we'll only come in if it's this.
Yeah.
That's fine. Can everyone buy in? We have a new manufacturer coming. We're going to reduce horsepower to 650.
Yeah.
Until that day comes, make your product that you've got now better.
Yeah. There was a moment where they were going to change the transaxle to try to figure out how to get rid of the shifting, and then they decided
Can't do that either.
They decided not to do it.
You can't. Look, can I tell you
They
why?
were going to do it at the test, and I heard that they scratched it off of the list because it was going to take too long for all of the teams to make the adjustment, to make the change. And it was like, it was on this list. Am I wrong?
It was. I didn't know they aborted it.
Aborted. Yeah, they didn't even try it.
You just get me fired up and you get me
Went
upset.
all the way to Phoenix.
I'm getting upset.
Went all the way to Phoenix and this took shit off the list.
I know.
No.
Well, listen, I applaud the effort to try to get the shifting out, because I think the shifting is a bad thing.
Right.
It's a bad thing because oval track racing is momentum based. When someone misses the center of the corner, or you can roll a little better, you gain that speed all the way down the straightaway. When you shift, you can miss a corner, grab a gear, and you've regained your momentum. That's bad. However, when I looked at what NASCAR was proposing for getting rid of shifting at Martinsville, we're like, that ain't going to work. Our minimum RPM is going to be like 5,000. We are going to mat it, and our car will be so stuck because we have no horsepower. Again, another thing that horsepower would help is that now we could run 5,000 RPMs, but because we have 100 more horsepower, Now we will start to buzz the tires. But you can't – they pushed the maximum RPM, back in your day, not to age you too much. I mean, I know we're close, but, we were running 90, 200. They pushed that top end down to like 8,800 or 8,700 now. Like, so what that has done is that if that's our max that we can run at the end of the straightaway, if we go to no shifting, we're now going to be running so low RPM through the center that it's just going to be slot cars.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. We actually need the shifting to, get the tires to wear, because, I mean, we will literally mat it. We nearly mat it right now at Martinsville off the corner for the entire run. You can't, because the top end RPM is so limited that the bottom end is way too low and our cars have no horsepower, so it's going to have terrible torque and it'll be worse for racing until they fix it.
Goodyear brought that tire to Martinsville. I thought that tire looked better. And I'm telling you, from the booth, man, it rubbered the track in. Yeah. Awesome. Rubber stacking up on the track. Cars are having to start to move around and straddle and do things to get around the corner. And
yes, I agree with you.
It looked like
what I'll counter.
I was more entertained.
Agree. We did move around. But once the pores filled up with rubber, the tires stopped wearing. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's why you saw people with Eric Almirola and others, and there was many others, stayed on 60-lap tires, and used to be you would, throw an anchor. I won a race in Martinsville there in 2010 where we started 9th with 6 to go and won the race because tires meant that much. But, and the reason we want tires to mean something is because it creates comers and goers. When the race cars are all the same now like they are, the drivers share data, everything is so similar, you're going to get similar lap times, and that's why the field there is more parity. But golly, once we all get going in that train, we're all running the same speed.
So that tire,
you see it in the monitors.
Yeah, that tire they put on the car at Martinsville had more rubber. And
it
created more temperature, but it was the same compound, so it still didn't wear more.
It's got to wear out. Gosh, we got to get to a tire that it wears. And it wears after tracks are rubbered up, not just when the track is green. Every tire will wear when the track is green. Yeah. And that's the problem we have with tire tests is we don't have enough cars to really build in, cover up those pores, because that's when we really see what tire wear we got.
Yeah. Well, man, we could talk all day. Thanks for coming today. I was really curious to talk to you about your experience as a podcaster, and I'm glad that you've enjoyed it, because I think it's a hell of an asset for the sport. It's a great service for the sport to hear from the drivers from themselves, and I think hopefully it's encouraging to other drivers as well to start thinking about how to do this. But anyways, man, thank you. Hope you're having a great off season. I know that you're dealing with the shoulder thing, but hopefully everything's going well and you get your Christmas shopping done for your girls, and have you a great Christmas holiday, and Happy New Year.